All right, we're here in Prescott, Arizona at the Aspen Creek Trailhead. Weirdly enough, with all the hiking that we've done up here, I've we have not been here. We have not been to this actual parking lot. Um, a lot of times I'll see areas where we have to start, and we'll show up there, and we'll be like, oh yeah, we've been here before. We've been here before. And I thought this was going to be another case of that, but no, this is a different parking lot and a different trailhead for us. So this one holds about 10 to 12 cars, and we'll be basically starting across the street. There is another trail system right here, but for today we're going to be heading that way to go do Mount Francis. This one is basically an out and back, the way that people generally do it. And from what I'm seeing, it's about 4 miles, I think, four-ish. But we're gonna make a loop out of it, and it's probably gonna add a few more miles to it to make it worth the 25-minute trip out here from our house. So, and the other thing is that we're hiking blindly. I don't have a trek map for this particular hike, and no one's put it up or anything like that. But it seems as though that there's good trails, and you don't have to leave the trail um, until you get to the base of the mountain, and then we'll have to find our way up. Hopefully, there's a trail there. I think I read somewhere that there was, but as far as actually finding that trail to go up, uh, I look at it more like a needle in a haystack. Um, and if we get lucky, we'll find it. If not, we'll probably have to cross country up it. So let's get started and start this hike. All right, so we're just over about 3/4 of a mile up the trail, and already we can see the tower of Mount Francis. So it's actually, as thought, not too far away. I mean, I think the trail is going to kind of wind around to the right, and then we go left and then up, and hopefully again we find that trail that goes to the top if there is one. The other thing is, what I didn't mention is that there's a peak to the side of it, apparently. And some people are calling it West Francis. I've seen it on other maps as Dopper Peak or Dopper Mountain, something like that. So once we get up there, we're going to scope it out and see if there is another peak we can hit while we're over there before making our attempt of a loop hike afterwards. So let's head up, keep on heading up the trail and see what happens. we made it here to Mount Francis. We're at 7,085 feet, and it took us just over 2.5 miles to get up here. A little bit longer than I thought, actually, but beautiful hike so far. All trail, and it lived up to the specs that I read about, that you could get up here by doing trail the whole way. But we realized on the way up here that, like I talked about earlier, that there is a peak next door to us called Dopper Peak. And it's about the same height as it is up here. It's off by, I think it's lower by about within like 10 or 20 feet. But we will have to go back down the trail, the main trail that we came up here, and then get back on that main trail and then up to Dopper, which is not too far. It's right next door. We weren't planning on doing 2 peaks today, but man, it's right there, so you might as well just hit it while we're right here. Other than that, it's beautiful up here. It's so quiet, so calm, and these really large radio towers. I thought there was actually only one up here, but as it turns out, there's like 3, and very easy to notice from a distance. Yeah, it's just a light breeze and perfect afternoon here in February. So we're going to get something to eat as usual, and then make our way down back to the trail, main trail, up to Dopper. we made it here to Dopper Peak, and right over my shoulder here you can see Mount Francis, which we just came from with the towers. And on here you can see this really cool, there you go, this boulder, the big summit block. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get up on because on the back side of this, it looks round, but it's straight back on the other side of it. So it's there's no way of really standing on it because it's too sharp, too thin up there. So we're calling it good. Right below it, there's Marianne eating her apple. And we're at 7,040-ish feet. So it's about, between 40 and 35 feet lower than Mount Francis. And what I forgot to mention was going up Mount Francis, it's pretty steep, and a lot of loose rocks and just kind of crappy terrain until you get up to that fire road. So coming back down that to come back to the main trail in order to work our way over to the base of this hike, it's a little bit slippery or whatnot. But coming up here, it was steep, but it was just like a flat, like old fire road. So, and you also saw on the way out here, there was an old tower that was seemingly burnt from a fire. You could see some burnt wood pieces, and then really just the left of an old like wooden tower. Be interesting to know how old that tower really is, and it might explain why they built the new ones or the big ones up on top of Mount Francis. So that was kind of interesting to see on the way over as well. So but yeah, overall, the second peak of the day, overall great hike. And now we're going to make our way back down this to, again, the main trail and continue on to complete this loop back to the trailhead. So we're going to get going now to do that because it is Super Bowl Sunday. So we're going to try to make it back before the game, or at least by the second quarter or whatnot. So, and that's the plan. So off we go. So we made it back down to the trailhead and back to the car. So the final numbers are 6.2 miles and 1,402 gain. So not too bad for
It's only 6 miles?
Only 6 miles.
Oh.
6.2 miles.
That's the easy hike ever.
It was an easy hike, but you know what? It was a beautiful hike, and honestly, I had not much expectations for the hike. So it actually turned out to be way nicer than I thought it was going to be, which I just thought it was going to be an easy in and out. And by the way, we did end up looping the hike, so that was a bonus because looping hikes are a lot more fun because the whole way you get all new scenery the whole entire way around. And just not the same old boring stuff coming back for an out and back hikes. But anyway, yeah, so it's still early. It's time to head back, get some food, get ready for the Super Bowl and eat and have some drinks and eat and watch the game. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next hike.